Hello, everyone. My name is George. I'm a peer with the GATS program for 2022. I'm in the cloud track. And so today I'll be quickly running us through how to SSH into a Linux machine from Windows using PowerShell. It's pretty simple. Modern day Windows machines come pre-configured with SSH. And so it is possible to um, set your system up to SSH secure shell into a Linux machine and carry out any operations that you need to carry out. Okay, so the steps are pretty simple. Um, First, you install GCP SDK on your Windows. I'll be providing the links to get this done. I've done that already on my Windows machine, so I won't be going through that. It's pretty simple. There's an option there to use PowerShell. Um, just follow the instructions there, and you should be good. Okay, upgrade your PowerShell if version is less than version 5. So PowerShell from version 5 upwards has SSH configured. But if you're using a version less than that, then you will need to do some things. And of course, it's there on the links that I'll provide to show you how to get this done. After that, you generate an SSH key on your Windows using the inbuilt SSH tool. I'll show you the commands to get this done. Very simple, very straightforward. Fourth, we add SSH public key to our target machine using GCP SDK command. The command gcloud compute instances creates name, and then you pass the metadata key, SSH key, and then that is placed into the machine. One thing you need to note here is that normally when you create a VM on GCP, you would have the ability to just click a button on the console and SSH into that machine. Now, normally, before that is done, in normal circumstances, if you want to push a key into a machine to identify yourself using your public key, you will need to provide the password of the machine for which you're trying to push this key into. That part of the operation is abstracted out and you don't really see it. So what you really do on GCP is just click on the button SSH and you go into the machine and you get things done. But normally this is what you will have to do. So we want to avoid the need to create a password before we can, add a key, SSH key into GCP compute instance. So we want to avoid that. So we're going to use our GCP command while creating the instance to actually push this key in there. After we do that, we simply connect to the GCP instance from our PowerShell. All this will be done from PowerShell. And of course, I'll be providing the links. Follow these links, read them through, and it should help you walk through. So let me get out of here so we can get back to doing that. Okay, so the first thing first is to install Windows on your install GCP SDK on your Windows machine. This is the command. You use a net.web client request, and then you download this file, and of course, run that file and install the SDK on your system. What will happen is that a PowerShell dedicated to Google Cloud will be made available to you. Um, this is the PowerShell terminal. The beauty of this PowerShell terminal is that it has your credentials, and so you just run commands. You don't need to run it as an administrator. You could still run the same commands on your regular PowerShells, but you need to run that PowerShell instance as an administrator to be able to um, have those commands run successfully. Okay, so this is here. This is created for you after you do this installation here. Pretty simple, and of course, um, after setting up your GCP SDK on your system, you run gcloud init, and then just follow the prompts on the command line, and you should be able to set up using one of your Gmail accounts, and then linking it to use the Gmail account that is linked to a particular cloud GCP account that you have. Okay, so that it will be connected to that particular account, and then you can access any project on that account and carry out the task. Okay, so that being done, okay, so we install that, and the next thing we do is we check to see that our PowerShell version is version 5 and above. I provided a link for that. If you have PowerShell version 5 and above, then you already have SSH key provided and configured for you. So let me just show you this. If I do SSH and then do a tab, you see these are the commands associated with SSH tool and that you will use to work. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda is to create an SSH key on our Windows machine. That's very important. It's going to create two keys, the public key and a private key. You will take that public key and send it out to any target instance you wish to authenticate with. And then when you connect with that instance, it will use that public key to negotiate the handshake with your private key, which you keep private. Private keys are not shared. You keep it private, and then use your public key. Share that with any platform you wish to interact with. Okay, so in your PowerShell terminal, what you basically would do from here is you will run this command, okay, to set up your SSH process to run to your SSH project process to run anytime the machine starts, and this command here will actually do that. Then the next thing you need to do is to generate a key. There are different key formats, algorithms used to create these keys. You have DSA, RSA, ECDSA, and of course ED2225519. Here in this tutorial, you're advised to use this one. On Linux, I usually use this, but Windows here recommends that you use this one. Whichever one you use, GCP will accept it. So you simply run this on your system. Okay, this command SSH-keygen space -t, and then you tell it what algorithm it should use to generate this key. It will generate this key and store them in this location you see here. On my system, my username is a Kojo. On yours, it could be Emeka, it could be Akan, it could be Timothy, whatever. It could be Jane, it could be Udwak, whichever one. Okay, so but you take note of course, your Windows system. You should take note. You should know your username. Okay, so just follow the prompt. In my case, I use the passphrase. It's extremely important. You could leave it blank, but I would advise you do that. And of course, take note of that passphrase and keep it secure, because you would use it from time to time. You'll be asked for that passphrase. Okay, so two keys will be created and placed in that location, and the location is um, this directory that begins with a period, and then inside there you have the keys. You can create as many keys as you like, name them accordingly. For me, best practice is create different keys for different platforms. That way, if one platform key, public key or private key is compromised, then the other platforms will not be compromised as well, because they're using different keys. But this is, I'm using this on my for this demo, so I'm just using one key. Okay, so you run this. After you create this key, you need to actually add your private key to your SSH tool. You use the SSH-agent. Okay, you use that. Just follow these commands that you see here. Set the service startup type automatic, and then start the service, and then get the service to be sure the service is running. You're starting the SSH agent service, and have that start up anytime you run your Windows. Then you would add it using this command. Of course, this environmental variable returns the path to your user location. So if I were to run if I were to do this env user profile, hit that. Okay, so that's yours will be different. This is mine. Okay, so after that we deploy the key. Now the one you see on this particular link has to do with deploying the key to a Windows machine, and of course you'll be asked the password when you do that. You could modify this to pass that to a Linux machine. Okay, uh, that is up to you to do. I'll leave that as an assignment to you. Okay, so once we've generated our key, the next thing we need to do is actually push the key to the machine. And like I said before, if you use the GCP command, you don't need to pass in a password. You simply just, of course, in this case, we are creating a VM. You could also pass this public key into a VM you previously created. So the link is there. Check out the different methods. Uh, two major methods here is adding the key to your project. When you add this public key to your project, that means every computer instance that is created in that project, you will be able to connect to it using this public key. But that's not what we're trying to do here. Okay, so um, what we want to do here is create push this key to an instance of our um, one of the a VM we are going to create to use for this demo. So the command is pretty simple: compute instance, create VM, and of course I'll show you the format in which the key will be passed to this creation process. Here you have the username, which is a kojo, and then a colon, and then the key value. So let's start off. We've talked a lot. Let's do that. So first thing I'll do is to run a cat command. The cat command will get to the cat command will bring out will show me my public key. Okay. All right. So I run this cat command, and what the cat does is um, show you the content of a particular file without you actually opening it in an editor. Okay, so this is the public key. Even if you were to copy this public key, you wouldn't be able to use it because you don't have my private key. Okay, so now that we've done this, we are going to put this in a command to create um, uh, our instance. So we do this from this so that we don't need to run it um, as an admin. Okay, so I'm going to call it demo, and then meta data SSH keys, and then of course a kojo, and then at, and then okay, sorry, colon, not at. Okay, we use that when we actually, so let me copy this key from here. Okay, and then come back here and then place that there and then end that with a quotation mark. The quotation mark there is to take care of the spaces in between the name of the key or the value of the key. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see if we'll get errors or we'll be successful. Okay, I didn't pick out a zone, so I'm going to pick out a zone here. I'm going to do that in US Central 1A. Okay, they didn't make US Central 1 available to us. Okay, so let me pick Europe West 1, West 1, 1B. Let me do 43. Okay, okay, so I'll do that and then have that machine created there. Okay, so when I passed in that command, what it did is it tried to um, look through all the zones that are available, and of course there were too many, and then it asked that I pick one. So that machine is there. Take note of the public IP. That's very important. So what we simply do is let me copy this public IP, copy that, come back here, and then of course you do SSH, a kojo, Kojo at public IP, and then hit enter. All right, so it asks that I confirm that I want to add that public ID as um, a host that you want to authenticate with, and I say yes, and it adds that, and of course we're in the machine. So that's our Linux machine. We could do clear screen and do sudo apt updates. Sorry, not pat apt updates and then it goes through. Okay, so that's it. We're in our Linux machine. It's as simple as that. Okay, exit from there, get out of there, and of course we go back here, and instead of doing create this time, we do a destroy. Please remember to destroy or delete, if I'll call it that, is so that you don't accrue um, unnecessary cost. So I took 43, which is Europe West 1B. So let me copy that and then paste that there and then let it do its business. Okay, so that's if I want to destroy that instance, I say yes. Okay, so it takes a few, depending on your network. Okay, so that's been deleted. If you do gcloud computes instances list, you should get nothing back. At least I don't have any computer instances in that region. Okay, so thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you leave your likes and follow, subscribe to my channel, leave your likes and leave comments. If you have issues, I'm going to make the slide for this presentation publicly available so that you can always go through the links provided there. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.